Well, howdy, Victoria 3 fans. Let's talk about how we're going to start playing Egypt in this run. First of all, on my the buffs I'm going to have here, all AI, constant buffs. We're going to give them no bonuses to my subjects. 10x on tech, 10x on bureaucracy, 10x on stability, 10x on empire. No diplomacy. I don't want them getting additional interests that wind up having weird countries starting to declare war in other weird parts of the world. I don't want that chaos. So, no. But 10x on treasury, 10x on investment pool, 10x on infrastructure, 10x on construction. I've already got population handle. Let's not get a lot of unemployed people here. But 10x on company, give them extra. This will give them 2 extra companies per country. This will, come on, build. I need the AI to build stuff out. So that's what they're going to do there. For the Gates of the Bosporus content, first of all, when I started the game, rather than go into sandbox mode, I went into one of the Gates of the Bosporus things and selected Egypt out of the Fate of the Ottoman Empire. I think that's the one it was. So I should get extra content. Woohoo! I like extra content. Yay! What else we got here? Okay, yeah, there's no grace period on radicals for the Ottomans. Strict requirements on formation of the Greek Empire. We're not going to be sloppy about it. And we'll have the starting Ottoman Eyalet there with Hersek and Tripolitania. And then they've got a little bit of stuff over here that they can beat up on. Scroll some more. Yeah, here we go. Quarter the tech bonus on Morgan Rota. Don't get too extra stuff there. But we're going to go with a little less historical stuff here on anthropology rules and uranium deposits and geological formations. I just like it like that. Because I also have Hail Columbia, I'm turning off the two-party system in PEC. So the two-party system in Hail Columbia will work for the U.S. We'll be fine with that. Big cheats from PEC, big construction bonus. Did I mention I want the AI to build? I've got also another content pack for Scandinavia. It's called The Three Brothers. Thought I'd put that in, see how it goes. Hope it doesn't wreck my game. For the war rework one, we're going to have, I'm going to have flavor events come up. These will be like little letters from the front. I like them. If you have your capital captured, you're going to lose 3 war score every 14 days, just guaranteed. There's no boost up. Because I think that was something that was going on with something that was happening somewhere else. It was boosting war score for dumb reasons. So this is going to flatten it for very good reasons. I'm going to give higher impact on casualties and higher impact on there being a stalemate. And yeah, this is going to hit me as well as the other players because I want the wars to be shorter. And this means, yeah, if I can't overwhelm, maybe I need to get out and be careful about how I fight. So those are the actual rules I have in the game. Now, how am I playing? Well, first of all, I have content to click on. The man who would be Khedive, I don't know the pronunciation. I'm going with Khedive. And if you try to help me with my Arabic pronunciation, please don't. I'm not good at, there's like several different K's and stuff. You can tell I am not a native Arab speaker when I speak Arabic. Anyway, I try, but I fail. Anyway, so yeah, we're languishing under the influence of the Sublime Porte, but we aim to change this through military might and industrial development. The Khedive, the dude, attempts to defy the might of Constantinople and secure hereditary rule over Egypt. And we will find its way. So we're onwards. I can now click that since I've shared it with you, the viewer. How do I start with Egypt? Well, let's take a look here. Start with the laws. I want to modernize. So to modernize, I need 3 things. I need my literacy above 20%. I need to get rid of slavery, and I need to get rid of serfdom. Serfdom is the one I'm going to jump at first because that's going to give me so many other benefits. Then I take on the slave trade, and while I'm doing that, I work on my literacy. There's a note on some of these other elements here that if, for example, the police or colonies or schools or health system, passing laws for them will mean building those institutions. And it's 80 bureaucracy per institution level. And I have 260 extra bureaucracies. Yay. But they're going to go fast because I don't have filing cabinets yet. Or I don't have the fancy filing cabinet. So because of that, we are going to try to avoid passing laws that will give us institutions and try to go for reforms that will just be addressed in general, like serfdom, like ending the slave trade. I'm going to be researching banking right now because I want better banks. This will not only give me better minting, but also better production of financial assets. And I need that if I'm going to industrialize. Got to have some banks. So that's my first tech. All right. And then once I have that, then I can pass the laws for free banking, get off of merchant banks, and then eventually get over to central banking. Wouldn't that be great? But I need more universities before I get there. As you can see, it takes a lot to get that. Budget-wise, I maxed out on government wages, military wages. I have all these little itty-bitty taxes, but the big money is going to come in from these taxes. And yes, it's going to impact my standard of living, but I need it so I can build, and build some more. What am I building? I'm glad you asked. Construction. I'm going to build 24 more of them. I want to get about 3 levels in Lower Egypt, Middle Egypt, Blue Nile, because those are big population centers. And then Eritrea and Palestine, because both of those have iron. Now, Egypt starts the game with a different resource mix than Sokoto does. When I play Sokoto, and call it Sokoto, when I play Sokoto has got some really good access to coal and iron, especially if it takes Benin early. Really good resources there. Egypt, not so much. Sokoto has really good timber resources. There's forests here. Egypt, not so much. And if it conquers into Ethiopia, it's not going to find a lot of wood there either. There's some, I think Gondar's got some good wood, but Somalia, yeah, not famous for its wood products. Somalia. So that's a consideration there. The resources that Egypt has available are limited and will make a different sort of gameplay for it. But definitely I need more construction so I can build the things that are going to help me build more. It's, one of them loops. So that's what I'm going to build at first. And the eagle-eyed among you will have noticed that, okay, you've got 1.61k authority, but you don't, you're only doing so many taxes. And you can see here, I'm suppressing the troublemakers, the absolutists, pro-slavery, traditionalists, and what the heck, the supremacists as well. Suppress them all. Just stomp them down. I want to modernize. That's what the leader of Egypt wants, right? Let's check to make sure here. Bro, you're jingoist, ambitious, persistent, innovative. There we go. That looks good to me. And he's Albanian too. Those Albanians are all about modernization. I mean, it's just a stereotype. Anyway, seriously, Khedive Muhammad Ali Alawi wants to have good stuff for his country. And that means making all the people who are in the way shut up and get out of the way. So that's what we'll do there. Jingoist. Let's conquer some other things. Now, it also says colonial exploitation is there. But with the mods I have in place, trying to colonize malaria-infested regions, it just isn't going to happen until you discover better medicine. And we're way off of that. Expanding out here into the Libyan desert, I could do that if I had a claim there, but it turns out Tripoli or Tarabulus Garb has the claim over here. So because they have a claim, I can't expand a territory there. Egypt is not going to be a colonial nation at the start. It's going to have to wait a while. But let's put that jingoism to good use. I could expand outward. I could go at the Ottoman Empire, but I can't because I have a truce. And that will apply towards the little things owned by the Ottomans nearby. Okay. Well, what if I went against Hale? All right, let's see what happens here. It will make 14 countries upset. Great Britain, one of them, and Russia, another. Well, I'm trying to improve my relations with the great powers. You can see here, I am trying to improve them. I just started here. And anything that knocks those relationships down could cause them to do things against Egypt, my country, that I would find unacceptable. And even more unacceptable would be to get the Ottoman Empire involved because they could drag other people in. This is not the way to go. So I can't go out to Tripoli. I can't go to Jabal Shamar. What about Darfur? Who cares about Darfur? It says if I conquer that state, it'll upset 3 countries. What 3? Darfur is one of them. Who are the other 2? Oh, Great Britain and the Ottoman Empire. Oh, and France is another one. Oh. Yeah, there's Great Britain. Again, I'm trying to make friends out of them. I can't afford anything that knocks my relationship with them down, and they've got a lot more armies than I do. I have 98. France has got double that. So I can go neither to the east nor to the west. How about north to Greece? And you'll see here real quick, I make 11 countries mad. Great Britain, Russia, France, Austria, 2 Sicilies. Oh, these are all people that can beat me up. And they will join in because they're going to protect the Greeks. So they're so special. Let's not head north. That leaves me with one direction, south. What if I attack Tigray? It will give me, Gojam, Kwara, Begemder, Kaffa, Wilega, Walaita, Warsangali, they could all jump in to support. It makes 17 countries angry, but they're all East African or... Oh, yeah, these are all East African. I don't even make the Arabic ones angry. So because the great powers don't have an interest here yet, and they tend not to over time, Ethiopia and Somalia are the way to go for early game expansion for your jingoist Egypt. What benefits do we get from them? Well, I look at Tigray, 242k GDP, Begemder, 271, Kwara, 219, Gojam, 299, Welega, 160. Okay, also not so much, but Shewa, 308, Harar, not so much, 119, Isak or Sengali, but still, these are all going to add up. And because of that, I will add another million or so GDP just by conquering all that. And they do have things in them that I can build with. And just taking what they have and adding it to my country will make Egypt all the more powerful. And with that power, as it increases in GDP, it's going to be able to work on getting recognized, and that gives it additional strength against the Ottomans. Now, that's the biggest trouble there. The Ottomans in the game and historically get support from a lot of European countries, and Egypt basically has France, and that's it. So I've got to turn things around. I've got to get good relations with everyone, and I'm hoping I don't have to attack the Ottomans, because then if they have defensive treaties, those get activated and I get pummeled. But if I can get the Ottomans to attack Egypt, the chances of the other nations joining in with that little party are lower than if I attacked the Ottomans, and I may even be able to draw some in to help me out. And with that, I can get independence. So I've got to use these 4 years, grab up a bunch of Ethiopia, build up, as much stuff as I can here in Egypt and then get ready for that war. What are the things I'm going to need? Well, I start off with the Egyptian market. I did a test run earlier, and in that run, the Ottomans revoked my market. So I'll have access to their market, and their market is terrible. But if I build out small arms and artillery and man o' wars to some extent, I'll improve my own troops and their access to things. I'll make a lot of money in the Ottoman market as I do. And when we finally do go for that independence, if I am taking away the military goods that the Ottomans are reliant upon, I have a better chance of victory. So yes, my strategy is going to be build out the construction, get some iron, get some wood, because I'm going to need those, financial services and tools, and then along the way, small arms, artillery, man o' wars. And when do I get to build my own munitions factories? Well, let's see how far away those are. I believe that's a military, and we need a percussion cap. And that's set for 5 years because it's a level 2 tech. And I'm still trying to get through level 1. So what else I should build in and around that are universities. And that's going to increase my demand for paper. And okay, so I've got a lot of things I got to build, which is why I got to get started with a lot of construction. And what I've done with construction is you start off with 11 because you have 3 construction buildings on wooden construction. And I've gone to iron frame construction. This does give me a shortage of iron and tools and such, but I'm going to import that. Pretty sure I will. And with that import, I'll keep going. I've got plenty of taxes here. And then once I have all of my construction built out, then I can focus on dealing with the shortages. And then I can, once those are addressed, I can then get the other things built up. So build that industrial base, get some universities going, increase my tech speed, and when I can get to a munitions plant and I can build my own bullets, ooh, it's on. And expansion to the south. Those are the things I'm going to work on. Let's see how well they do. Oh, as other nations declared rivalries against me, I thought, oh, there's something I missed. There's a reason I have all this diplomacy pointage here to deal with these countries and still have 21k more. It's because Egypt is in an interesting place because it can declare a lot of rivals at the start of the game. So I just rivaled every tiny country in Arabia and Africa. Now, some of these are probably going to get knocked out, one way or the other, and I'm fine with that. But until then, they're going to give me 300 to 400, 300 or so diplomacy points, and I'm going to use those to make my relations with the great powers stronger and to reduce my infamy as I gobble up little bits of Africa. Now, having just passed the serfdom, tenant farmers, which I see as an intermediary step between serfdom and homesteading, I'm also going to go with the intermediary step between slave trade and slavery banned, and that is legacy slavery. No one's opposed to it. That's a plus, so it should pass. And it'll give me some more time to suppress the pro-slavery lobby, because once they're suppressed, I'll have an easier time of banning slavery. So I want to show what's going on with the war involvement mods and all that. The war score for the Ottoman Empire is dropping right now, but nobody owns their capital. Why? Well, it says in 13 days it'll change by minus 3.54. They've got plus because they of their control over war goals, minus from their casualties suffered compared to max military size, and the ratio is more from the ratio of Ottoman manpower losses, radical population, fervor of Ottoman primary culture. So all those are contributing to that drop. But the biggest one is the casualties. If we take a look, Right. So they've got, roughly equal roughly equal casualties here. But compared to how many they can take, Russia can handle a lot more. Whoops, let me go back over here to look at the Russian war score. They're fine. There's no enemy occupation. They're doing great. Austrians, they're feeling pretty good as well. All these are strong. It's the Ottomans that are starting to take a hit, and their war support is diminishing. Now, Austrian war support is really low, and, well, if they got rid of, they have a strong anti-war movement. That's their problem. But I would expect this war, which started recently, to end pretty quickly. Because I am playing with the Morgenröte, there's archaeology, and as nations discover it, they're willing to give me money to go take shovels and go through my sand. Suckers. What are they going to find in the sand? They're going to give me money. You're going to go dig in my... Okay, whatever. Sure. Have fun, guys. You go. And that will help improve my finances. Their archaeology is my benefit. Whoa. Yeah, this thing is going to end really quickly here. You can see the date. It's not that much later than when I was earlier, and the Ottomans are now off by 15. They've had massive casualties. Oh, whoops, let me get onto that again there. There we go. Yeah, the casualties, their enemy control over war goals, the manpower losses. Yeah, and they're at 35, so they're dropping by 15. It's got about a month to go for this war. Wow, and there it is, just right on time. Serbian independence, they get chunks there. Montenegro now goes over to Austria, and the Ottomans are humiliated. And that makes their military strength at around 1,002, and mine is at 2,000 or so. I'm going to keep building my things up. I've got 3 more years to go, but if I build out my factories, particularly in the armaments area, I will be ready to take on the Ottomans if I can get them to come to me. Or I might be able to have good enough relations with the Europeans to get them to invite me along. We'll see. All right, I've had a bit of an adventure here, taking almost all of Ethiopia. Haven't gone into Somaliland much, but that could wait. I've got the big ones. I have a truce with Hadia because they were, when I was attacking up here in Gondar, they declared war, and I couldn't reach them, so I didn't bother taking them. I got to let that time out. But because of the unrest in the Eastern Question here, we've got a Serb uprising and a Bulgarian uprising. And if I look at the Serb uprising, I see Russia and Austria are leaning Serb, as are the 2 Sicilies. I don't see anybody pushing to help the Ottomans with the exception of the Papal States. But whoever Hakkari are, I guess they're over this way. Yeah, okay. Well, I no longer have a truce with the Ottomans. And if I look at my diplomacy here, I do have, let's see here. Well, there's a treaty there. I know I got to pay out something here. Or no, I don't, because I'm a protectorate, so I don't pay anything to the Ottomans right now. But definitely, whatever it is, it also be to my benefit to get independence from them. And we'll ask for independence from the Ottomans. The reason being, if I take a look at the small arms market, yes, there's a massive shortage in the Ottoman Empire. They need 134 more than they got right now. But if I look at the arms industries, about 70 of the 90 or 72, 71 of the 90 that are being made in the Ottoman Empire come from my territory, which means the Ottomans will be off by 200 in their demand. And when we look at the barracks requirement, yeah, Gondar, Lower Egypt, Middle Egypt, those are mine. Blue Nile, yep. But then there's a lot of other ones that are Ottoman. And that's where I believe I'll still have a shortage, but it'll be like 10 to 30 maybe, I'm guessing. The Ottomans will have several hundred. And I'll get control of my market, and life will be good. Because right now I'm stuck in the Ottoman market, and I need to break free. This is where I do it. Now I've got construction paused because I was getting close to my limits. I'm going to have to not worry about that as I mobilize my troops and go in to knock out the Ottomans. Let's see if the Serbs accept me. Yep. Hijaz joined in as well. Good job, Hijaz. All right. My third army mobilize and send against Tarabulus, whereas the other armies mobilize and get thee hence unto the front and make life for the Ottomans miserable. My military projection is at 2,831. The Ottoman projection, oh yeah, they just had a recent war with the French, and that resulted in some major upset. They got forced wealth voting and a few other things, so they're in a bit of a state. Anyway, mine was, what was it again? 2,831. Right. So the Ottomans are at 1,000. And what's the Serb uprising at? Okay, small. Well, too bad for them. But the Ottomans also have to deal with the Bulgarians, and I don't. So, huzzah. And I'm getting my banking lot too. Yay. All right, once again, the Ottomans are having big war score problems. We're pushing in. They're going to be losing war score, and as we occupy more territory, they're just going to collapse more and more. This should be a quick war for independence, and I'm glad for that. I'm glad to see faster wars in my Vicky 3 games. Faster than what I had in the last several runs I did, some of which I couldn't televise because they were so bad. Oh. These are some of the flavor events that come from the War Rework mod I talked about in a previous video. This is in addition to the Waddle War Rework one. We have a humiliating defeat. Well, I mean, I'm not happy for it. In character, ooh. But the player, the guy having fun in the game, like, oh, ooh, what's the story? And we can either take a hit of 10 on our war score, or blame the commander and make the armed forces group kind of mad. And I've got a lot of radicalism. I'm going to need their help later on. Let's just take a hit on the war score. We're going to be fine anyway. The Ottomans are about to tap out. They're at +7, and they're going to drop by 9 in about 2 days. So let's just see how that goes, shall we? Anyway, being in my own market, it does give me some when I'm constructing, I need more iron and things. But I got Declaration of Independence, yay! Yeah. So now we just got to wait for the Papal States to tap out, and we should be good. Well, we'll send these. Okay. Ooh, yeah, that was an actual gaboop that I had there for the independence. I hadn't done that in Victoria 3 before because I tend to play great powers. They don't need to fight for their independence. I got it here. And all these other ones are dropping out. There's no more front line to go to. I can now demobilize this group here and demobilize that group there. And I'll just keep the other ones on tap because we may need them. Also, because of my size, I think... Whoa, yeah, here's all the rivalry brokens here. Because I'm I'm a bigger nation here. Oh yeah, I went from like 30 something to 16 now. Uh, let's just clear all those. There we go. And there's more rivalries broken. Yeah, I can't be rivals anymore with those guys. It's just not happening here. And meanwhile, looks like Greece is, yeah, there's a Greek uprising. Some, oh, here it is. These little islands here. They're going against the Ottomans. Things are going downhill quickly in the Balkans. I love that's flavor right there. That's flavor. Okay, well, we'll just yeah, we'll see what happens when the Papal States tap out, and we've got about, it says 7 more months here. I don't know if I'm going to keep. I might. I don't know. Yeah, because I. We'll see. We'll see what happens once my armies are fully demobilized. How things are. It looks like if I want this war to end, I need to invade the Papal States. So I'll invade the Papal States, and we'll take the Third Army there. See how that goes. Well, as it was, I had to call the invasion off because I just don't have enough boats to do it there. I'm losing on my trade, which again feels historical. I love that. I don't care, what they did to make that happen. It's good that they did. Oh, I seem to be in violation of a treaty here. Uh-oh. Yeah, well, it's because we don't have enough boats. Once they get back to port, we'll be fine, I hope. An offer is tendered from France. Give them trade privileges, and they give us trade privileges, and they also give us a power block assembly, or embassy. Well, they have development fund, which boosts our construction. I could use that. And the unified bond market, which will reduce our loan rate. That's a good thing, too. What does the French market look like, though? Let's see here. How are they doing without? They have extra iron? I need iron. They need a lot of paper. I need even more. And tools, wow, they are hurting for tools, and so am I. I don't know if okay. So being in their power block is interesting. Being in their market right now, ow, wow, yeah, I'm just barely able to deal with my wood shortage. These are things I can't handle. That's why I broke away from the Ottomans. We're going to respectfully negotiate. What if we took out the power block assembly embassy? How about that, France? Would you take that one? We'll still have trading rights, but I don't want to be in your power. I don't want to be part of your market because it's a trade group. Let's see if they accept that. Okay, cool. So now we have access to the French market. We can get more stuff from them. They have access to our market. Whatever our cheap stuff is, they'll import. As for the Papal States, they recruited more troops. That's why I had to break off my invasion, which you saw earlier. Their war score is declining slowly. They do have the casualties, but also just the stalemate. It's going to wear them out, and they're just going to say, that's it, we're gone. They're not going to get a boost to their war scores. This war is not going to go on forever. It'll just feel like forever. And it's because of that transit rights there. My war support is going up because I cut taxes. And because I cut taxes, I reduced my radicals. Yeah, see that number is going down. So, and yeah, I think if I stick to building one thing at a time. Oh, we're building an instrument workshop. Oh, that's interesting. If I build one building at a time, I should be able to avoid the worst of it and get by with making what I need. Ah, excellent. I need to build some motor industries. And looks like I need to discover the tech for motor industry. But I should be able to because I've got 76 innovation and oh, I'm so close to the max inno. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And once we can get to a better form of research there, we need to get to dialectics. Okay, so once we discover that, we should be able to get a lot more research done, and that'll help us out going forward. All right, I'm going to hit pause. We've got nothing under construction. I'll probably want to build, I need paper, I need a little bit of sulfur, and I need to also get rid of slavery. If I go to laws and go here, slavery banned is going to make my landowners upset, but not radicalized. And as my literacy is trending upward pretty quickly, I think now is the time to make that break. We've already cut ties with the Ottomans. We've conquered a big part of Ethiopia. And we're ready to take the rest. Ha 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 ha. We've got really good relations with Europe. Now is the time to get recognized, and once recognized, there's a lot more we can do, and we'll be able to do it. So I hope you've enjoyed this start for Egypt. Let's sum up what you need to do, what worked. Definitely acquiring territory in Ethiopia. You're able to build up your GDP with that. You're going to get more manpower, and there's some good resources here. So that's and you could get away with it because nobody else cares. The only relationships you're going to damage are the ones in Africa and Arabia. And two, while you are oppressed by the Ottomans, declare rivalries with everybody who's weak. You get tons of diplomacy points. It's fun, and you use that to make good relations with everybody else. And by the time you break away from the Ottomans and you lose all those rivalries, you're in a good situation. Let the Ottomans come to you, or in this case, I was waiting for an action here that I could join in on and make my war goal independence. And check to make sure that if any European powers are going to get involved, that they'll be involved on your side, not against you, because it's very easy for them to declare in favor of the Ottomans and mess it up for you. They want to keep Britain and France want to keep the Ottomans strong historically to be a counterweight to Russia. I kind of want that now too, now that I'm independent. But as far as GDP, I'm at 9.1. What are the Ottomans at? 7.54. So I've gone past them. And they're an unrecognized major power. Oh, they've lost their power block. Interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So with that means if they don't have a power block, yeah, that one creates a power vacuum. And two, it means that as they're going through this hostility phase in the Balkans, we could expect to see lots more rebelling going on here. There's more Bulgaria to be had, Albania, the rest of Serbia, the Greek territory, and I can help, especially if I take the non-Turkish parts in Mesopotamia. Why would I want to do that? Because, one, there's archaeological sites, and I'll just increase the payments that I'm given for them. Another reason to also maybe consider conquering Greece, just to get the archaeology. Don't think I can hit out to Mexico, though. Ooh, speaking of 1842, dang if the USA didn't resolve the Oregon situation and pick up the colonies over here from Mexico. That's interesting. Anyhow, yeah, I don't think I can conquer the Yucatan. If I did, though, I'd have all the archaeology. Oh, wait, no, I need the Yucatan and Peru. Then I have all the archaeology. But as I was saying, take the archaeological payments. That's a good thing. Let the Ottomans come to you, conquer Ethiopia, and build your armaments because you're going to need them in that war. And that's a good way to build up Egypt at the very start of the game. This promises to be fun. Well, we'll see you again. You like, comment, subscribe, and tell your neighbor about this, and be good to everybody, and we'll see you in the next one.